Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 20th of February 2024. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover the most important articles from the newspaper and we are going to discuss these topics from the UPSC perspective. Apart from this, we are going to cover a mapping related topic to look into the places that are in news. Alright, so let us quickly see the list of articles that we will cover in today's newspaper analysis. So in all, we are going to cover 7 articles and 1 map related topics, and we have listed the name of the articles along with their relevance from the UPSC perspective, and also we have listed the page number from the Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper. Alright, so apart from this, I would like to highlight one important thing with you, that is the Hindu newspaper has also started coming up with the international edition of this newspaper. So in the international edition, generally they do not include those aspects that are localized things. Apart from this, they include the most important and relevant aspects. So many a times there are articles that are similar in the international edition and also in Delhi edition. Okay, so sometimes if there is an additional article that we cover in the analysis itself. Now this is the first topic that we are going to discuss, and so today we are going to understand about the forest reserves, national parks that are located in the state of Kerala. Why we are looking into the national parks and forest reserve in the state of Kerala? It is because the the State Legislative Assembly of Kerala has decided to reach out to the central government to ask them, right, to resolve the human-wildlife conflict. And also in Kerala, human-wildlife conflict has been increasing, right, over a period of time, and we are going to understand about the reasons related to increase in the human-wildlife conflict. But that we will discuss through our newspaper article discussion in detail. But before that, let us see that what are the conservation reserves in Kerala, what are wildlife sanctuaries, and which national parks are located in the state of Kerala. So as we can see over here, right, this is the map of the southern portion of India, right. In the southern portion of India, Kerala is a very small state. So Kerala is a very small state. So this state is located to the western part in the southern India, western side of southern India. This is the map of Kerala. So when we talk about this map of Kerala, so it has a very less geographical width. Okay, so the geographical width of the state of Kerala is about 70 kilometer only. But if we talk about what is the population of human, right, what is the population, overall population, so around more than 3 crore people reside in the state of Kerala. So Kerala is a densely populated state, and apart from this, it has huge number of wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, and other protected areas. Why this is the case? It is because Kerala is located in the western coast of India, right? So this is part of western Ghats of India, and so here we find abundance of biodiversity resources. Like there are biodiversity in case of fauna, means animals. There is huge amount of biodiversity in case of fauna, flora as well, the plants. So plant and animal diversity can be seen in the state of Kerala. So we are going to discuss about the human-wildlife conflict in a later part of discussion today. But before that, let us quickly see the important places, right? Important protection, protected reserves or protected places in the state of Kerala. So one of the place over here is Silent Valley National Park. As we can see, Silent Valley National Park is located in the state of Kerala, right? This is the location of Silent Valley National Park. Apart from this, we have this Iravikulam, right? Iravikulam National Park and Tiger Reserve. So this is located in Kerala. We have Periyar Tiger Reserve. You see Periyar Tiger Reserve in the state of Kerala. Apart from this, there are other places also, right? So the yellow colored maps, right? The yellow dotted thing, these are the national parks, and the others are sanctuaries or wildlife sanctuaries. So how many national parks are located in the state of Kerala? So if I talk about number of national parks in the state of Kerala, number 1, Wayanad National Park, right? Number 2, this is Pichi Wazani. Okay, Pichi Wazani. So this is also a national park. Apart from this, we have this third, which is known as Parambi Kolam National Park. Then we have this fourth, Idukki National Park. Then we have fifth, which is Periyar National Park. Okay, Idukki and Periyar. This is the sixth one, which is Thathekad National Park. Then we have Nayyar National Park, and we have at last Pepawara National Park. So these are the national parks that are located in the state of Kerala. Apart from this, if we talk about, let's say, like, wildlife sanctuaries, right? So there are multiple wildlife sanctuaries that we find in the state of Kerala. Number one is Erevikulam Wildlife Sanctuary. Number two is this Silent Valley National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary. So these are the places that are located in the state of Kerala, and they are protected places. I mean, like, they are protected for conserving the species of animal and plants. Apart from this, if we look into this particular map that talks about the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in the state of Kerala, so these are located in this map also, okay, in this map as well. So if we talk about the wildlife sanctuaries, right, so those places that we have located in the previous map, they are listed in this map also. So what you need to do in your free time, you can download this particular PDF from the description of the YouTube video, and then you can go through the national park and the tiger reserves that are located in the state of Kerala. This will really help you, right, to solve map related questions in the prelims exam. So having understood this, let us now quickly move to the first article for the day. All right. So this is going to be the first article that we are going to discuss today. Name of this article is Use Dictionary Meaning of Forest. Supreme Court tells central government. So this is a very, very important topic. This topic is related to environment and ecology. Okay. So recently the central government of India had passed an act, and that act effectively amended the Forest Act. Okay, so there was a, let's say, like, Forest Conservation Act of 1980. So this Forest Conservation Act of 1980 has been amended by the central government recently, and after amending, they have also changed the name of this act. So they have named it as Van Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam. Okay, Van Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam. However, they not only have, like, they have not only changed the name, but they have changed the contents also, right? They have amended this particular act. And one important amendment was that, like, they have changed the definition of forest, right? So the thing is, earlier the definition of forest was defined by the Supreme Court judgment. So long back in 1996, the Supreme Court of India has come up with a judgment, and that judgment is known as T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. Okay, that judgment is known as T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. So this judgment has been announced by the Supreme Court of India in the year of 1996. In that year, the Supreme Court of India has, let's say, increased the scope of definition of forest. So the Supreme Court of India has clarified in that judgment in 1996, which is known as T.N. Godavarman case. Okay, Godavarman-Thirumalpad case. So there, Supreme Court of India has adopted the definition of forest to be the definition that is there in the dictionary, right? So in dictionary, what is the literal meaning of forest? Wherever we find tree, wherever we find patches of tree, right? So that is considered to be forest. So Supreme Court of India has defined that at that point of time that forest should be those places where we find trees, right? Where we find shrubs, herbs and all. So the thing is, like, it included many places in the country under the definition of forest. But recently the amended act of the central government, that amended act has narrowed the scope of covering forest, right? So they have mentioned that all those areas that are notified under government records, whether it is under the central government record or a state government record or the local government record, so all those forests that are notified under the government records will be considered forest. Otherwise, other places can be converted into safaris, into wildlife sanctuaries by the government. However, the amended act has met with lot of criticism. Many people have filed cases also in various courts, and finally the Supreme Court of India has took up that particular case, and Supreme Court of India has now come up with a verdict in this particular case. And Supreme Court of India has asked the central government that now what you need to do, you need to consider all those places as forest that meet the dictionary definition of forest, right? So Supreme Court of India has reiterated its stand that it had taken in 1996 under T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. Okay, this is the thing. So now the Supreme Court of India has also said that, like, before you go ahead and convert forest into wildlife sanctuaries or you convert into safaris, right, for tourism purposes, you need permission from the Supreme Court of India. And then Supreme Court of India has also directed the central government and various state governments that you first of all let's say, make a list of various forests in the country and show it to the Supreme Court of India, and then Supreme Court of India is going to, let's say, take further actions in this regard. Okay, then the Supreme Court of India is going to give further directions. So here, to understand this particular topic, okay, let me write this topic for your purpose, right? So I'll be writing some important things from this particular topic. So it is a Supreme Court judgment, right? I'm just writing Supreme Court judgment on definition of forest. Okay, on definition of forest. So to understand this particular topic, you need to understand that we have, number one, we have a Forest Conservation Act, right? Forest Conservation Act of 1980. This act is already in place, right? So the thing is, even after having this particular act, right, there have been multiple controversies associated with this. So the thing is, what has happened? Number one, the Supreme Court of India has given a judgment, right? Supreme Court judgment. When? In 1996. And what was the name of the judgment? This is known as T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. Okay, T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. So in this particular T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case, the Supreme Court of India has said that the definition of forest, right, will be as per the dictionary definition, as per the dictionary definition. Okay, as per the dictionary definition. However, what has happened in the year of 2023, right, the central government has amended the Forest Conservation Act, and after amending, what they have named it, they have named it as One Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam. They have named it as One Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam. However, this has met with lot of criticism. People have filed cases in the Supreme Court of India, and now Supreme Court of India has reiterated, right? Reiterated its stand, it had earlier taken a stand in the case of T.N. Godavarman Thirumalpad case. So here again, the Supreme Court of India said that the central government need to consider definition of forest to be as defined in the dictionary, as per the dictionary meaning. Okay, so this has included let's say various places as part of forest. So there will be 1.97 lakh square kilometer in the country, right? That will be considered 1.97 lakh square kilometer will come under the, let's say, definition of forest. So having understood this, now let us quickly go to the next article. We will understand another article. So this article is again important. This article talks about, it says the recent report on local fintech players, right? So recently the Parliamentary Standing Committee has come up with a report related to how UPI applications are being used in India. So what is the pattern and trend of usage of UPI application, and let's say like how many private players are there, how many government let's say like entities are working, and also they have talked about that let's say how many foreign players are participating in the UPI market in the country. So according to this particular news article, so they have said that in India the UPI landscape is dominated by foreign players like PhonePe and Google Pay. So they have a let's say like combined share of more than 75%, right? So here they have said that when we talk about PhonePe has around 46.91%, approximately 49% of the total share in the let's say UPI payment thing, and Google Pay has a total share of 36.39%. So these two players, which are let's say like backed by Walmart. So Walmart is a foreign company, so foreign company backs this PhonePe as well as Google Pay. So the thing is like these two actually dominate the UPI landscape in the country. However, when we talk about those let's say applications that are made in India, that are used in India, for example, there is a National Payments Corporation of India Limited, NPCI. NPCI has its own application which is known as Bhim UPI. So in the market it has a mere presence of 0.22%. I mean like so this, when we talk about NPCI's Bhim UPI, so this is being used by Indian people less than let's say 1/4%, okay, which is very less. So the thing is the Parliamentary Standing Committee has recommended, right, that like the Reserve Bank of India should do something in this regard. And so earlier also there was a guideline from the government part, right? There was a guideline from the government part that none of the UPI players should be let's say like allowing payment, right, more than 30% of the total UPI transactions in this regard. However, some companies have breached those limits. They were given some let's say like they were given some kind of relaxation, means like some time to comply with the norms of the Reserve Bank of India. So in this article basically they have said, they have talked about the report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, right? So Parliamentary Standing Committee on Communication and Information Technology, they have raised concerns of the dominance of fintech apps owned by foreign entities in India, and they have suggested that Reserve Bank of India can regulate those apps that are let's say like India owned. They can regulate effectively those apps that are let's say inbuilt, those apps that are built in India by Indian companies, because like in case of the apps that are made by other let's say companies of foreign jurisdiction, there the Reserve Bank of India will not be having let's say complete let's say like control on it. So basically this particular article raises this particular question that like if there are foreign players who are dominating in the let's say like local payment landscape in the country, so this is a point of concern, and the government of India and the Reserve Bank of India and the associated regulatory bodies should do something related to this, and they have earlier taken a decision also, okay. So National Corporation of India had issued a 30% volume cap on transaction facilitated by UPI. However, it has not yet been complied by foreign companies like PhonePe and Google Pay. Alright, so with this, let us quickly move to another article. This article talks about why are human-wildlife conflicts escalating in Kerala, right? So as we have recently seen that Kerala is a state in the southern portion of India, and this state has a very narrow width, right? Very narrow geographical width. So in this particular narrow state, right, in this particular let's say geographically short or small state, let me draw the map of Kerala for you. Okay, so where is Kerala located? Kerala is located somewhere here. So it is located in a narrow patch of land. Okay, this is Kerala. Kerala is located in a very narrow patch of land. So the state of Kerala, let's say, has like huge population density. So more than 3 crore people are residing in this particular state, and not only this, not only human beings are residing, huge patches of area are under protected, let's say protected areas. So the government of India and state government of Kerala has designated many places in Kerala to be wildlife sanctuary, right, to be wildlife sanctuary and national parks, right, and national parks. But still what is happening, human wildlife conflicts are happening time and again, and in the last 1 month there have been many conflicts between animal and human being. Recently few wild elephants have came, let's say encroached upon some human being, let's say resided territory. They have killed a human being also in that particular region, and after killing human beings, so what has happened, people have started protesting, right, in Kerala, and now the state government of Kerala is thinking of, let's say like the ways to reduce the human wildlife conflicts in the state of Kerala. So now what they are doing is they are basically in talks with the central government, so that the central government takes back the eco-sensitive zone norms, right, that was earlier declared, and this eco-sensitive zone norms have been declared under the recommendation of retired, let's say, bureaucrats of the let's say government of India. So basically the state government of Kerala wants to reduce the human wildlife conflict, and what are different ways of reducing it? Number one, first of all, what they need to do, they are actually trying to understand, right, they are trying to understand that which animals are causing most problems. They are elephants, they are gores, and they are some other elephants, so other animals. So basically what happened, so to reduce these things, so the wildlife board in Kerala, they have decided, they have told the government of Kerala that we need to increase the height of the electricity towers or electricity wires, so that animals do not touch on those wires, because if they touch on those wires, elephants can be killed. Okay, second thing that they have said is that inside those forested areas where animals live, the, let's say, human beings can do plantation of wild plants or some kind of wild varieties of plants, so that feeding related things must be available inside the let's say wildlife sanctuaries, inside those, let's say wild areas, so that animals do not come out of their forested region. And apart from this, they were thinking of, let's say, declaring a particular animal to be vermin, means after it is declared, so the government of Kerala will take steps to eliminate that animal by killing it, and that is known as culling. Okay, C-U-L-L, that is known as culling. So these are the things that are going on in the state of Kerala, and why this incident has now originated, because recently, let's say within a month, right, less than a month, there let's say another man has been killed by elephants in the state of Kerala. This is the thing. Now let us quickly move to another article. It talks about Greece's gateway to Asia, India's gateway to Europe. This is another article, very short and good article. So in this article, basically we are going to understand about the bilateral relations between India and Greece. So let me write down the name of the article. This is going to be the topic number 3 for the day. Greece's gateway to Asia, India's gateway to Europe. This is again a very important article. In this article, basically they have discussed about the, let's say, importance of bilateral relations between India and Greece. So as we know, Greece is a very old civilization, and in Greece, let's say a lot of philosophies has originated. For example, when we talk about Plato, Socrates, right? People like these philosophers, they come from Greece, they come from Athens, they do have, let's say, like, some relation with Macedonia and all. So Greece is a very old civilization. When we talk about India also, India is also a very old civilization. However, let's say the relation between these two countries, right? These two countries are, let's say, like, are prospering from time to time. And now what has happened, recently the Prime Minister of India is, let's say, like, is on a visit to Greece. And so the Greece's Prime Minister is also about to visit to India. So now they are thinking of, let's say, establishing bilateral investment treaties, right? Bilateral trade and investment treaties. So we are going to understand what do we mean by bilateral trade and investment treaties or agreements, right? Bilateral trade and investment agreements we will understand. So basically in this article they have talked about that, like, how these countries can come together, how these countries can come closer when it comes to foreign relations, when it comes to investment relations with one another. So in this article, let's say, like, the author has talked about various areas where Greece and India can cooperate with one another. So today we are going to discuss about bilateral trade and investment agreements. Okay, bilateral trade and investment agreements. So this is bilateral trade and investment agreements. So let us understand what do we mean by bilateral trade and investment agreements. So when we talk about bilateral trade and investment agreements, so this happens between two countries. How many countries? This happens between two countries. Bilateral means between two countries. Here on one side there is India and on the other side there is Greece. So these two countries are, let's say, cooperating with one another. They are signing treaties with one another. This is one important aspect. Apart from this, here when we talk about nature of the bilateral trade and investment agreement, so what is the purpose of these agreements? What is the purpose? Number one purpose is, so we are going to discuss about these purposes. Number one is promotion, right? Number one is promotion of investment in each other's country. So through the bilateral trade and investment agreements, what we do, we try to focus on promoting investment, right? Promotion of investments. Number two, protection of investments, right? Protection of investments. For example, if people from India have invested in Greece, right? Companies of India have invested in Greece. So they want, the investors in India want that their investment must be protected by by Greece's government. There should be adequate political safeguards or adequate measures, right? So that, the investments must be protected. Similarly, the investors from Greece expect the same from India. They expect a reciprocity. Means if the investors and businesses from Greece are investing in India, right? So their investment must be protected and they should get proper, let's say, guarantee from the government. So this is the thing. So promotion is important, protection is important. Third thing is facilitation is important, right? Facilitation of investment and business friendly environment, right? That is also important. Apart from this, this also boosts the confidence of the investors, right? Boosts the confidence of the investors. So whenever a bilateral investment treaty is signed between two countries, so investors' confidence is boosted. Okay, these are the things. So in this article, basically they have talked about various ways how these two countries can cooperate with one another diplomatically, how they can create channels for the businesses, right, to flourish in each other's countries and all. So finally, in this article, the author says that the political determination to move Greece-India ties forward is linked by the view that by Athens that India is both an old and traditional friend and a rising power. Okay, so like they see India as a rising power, they see India as a traditional and old friend of Greece, okay, and both of these two countries are old civilizations also. So with this, now let us move to another article. This article is short. It is a very important article. It talks about engineering graduates are steering the service industry, right? This is also a very important article. It says engineering graduates are steering the service industry. So now let us understand about the engineering graduates. So generally in India, huge number of people are graduating every year with engineering degrees. But there are sufficient avenues of employment are not available in the core engineering fields. Less number of manufacturing units are available. But since engineers inculcate, let's say, they inculcate various qualities during their education, right? Qualities like adaptability, qualities like critical thinking, problem solving, right? Qualities like service oriented mindset. A lot of qualities are developed by engineers during their academic curriculum. So when they develop it, so generally what happens during this particular time period, right, after they graduate, they are in search for jobs in their own core field. But in India, less number of core fields are available. Since less number of core fields or less number of jobs are available, engineers have to take up jobs in other areas as well. So 80% of the engineers who are graduating every year, 80% of them are getting job in areas that are not directly related with their field of education, with their field of engineering, okay? So that is the thing. And also, according to a new report, right, according to Statistica, only 57% of engineering graduates are employable, okay? Only 57% of the engineering graduates are employable, and all those graduates who are employable, right? So it says that 80% of graduate engineers end up in taking non-technical jobs. So they are also working in service-led industries. And why people employ engineers in service-led industries? Because they understand that engineers have the inbuilt capacity. They have the, let's say, that orientation of problem solving. They have the orientation of critical thinking. They have the orientation of adaptability in a new field. So that's why engineers are getting job also, but they are getting jobs in other fields. But finally in this article, what the author says, that we need to focus on, okay, that service engineering. Service engineering means the engineering graduates are working or dominating in the service sector. Why it is so? Because service sector is able to generate huge number of jobs as compared to manufacturing sector. Service sector, let's say generates huge number of jobs, right? So it says service sector, let's say generates about 31% of employment. However, let's say industries generate about 25% of employment avenues in the country. This is the thing. So with this, let us see what is the core idea of the author in this article. So author says that this trend of engineering graduates moving towards the services sector points to the evolving nature of the job market. Okay, so it says evolving nature of job market. So it is related to employment and unemployment related statistics. This article is important under Indian economy. All right, so with this, let us now move to another article. It says Cauvery Pact, a controversial journey. Okay, so in this article we are going to understand about the Cauvery related pact. So Cauvery is a water that flows between, let's say, multiple states. However, let's say related to sharing of water from the Cauvery river, there have been multiple dispute between various states, including the state of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So so this has happened, but in this article they have talked about, right, they have talked about that what has happened in the past, how the Cauvery Pact actually originated. So basically in this article they talk about M. Vishveshwarya. Okay, M. Vishveshwarya, he is rightly called engineer visionary. He was the chief engineer of Mysore long back, and he came up with a proposal in 1910 to build a reservoir, and this reservoir is now called as Krishna Raja Sagar. Okay, this reservoir means dam. This is known as Krishna Raja Sagar. Okay, so this KRS reservoir, and this reservoir actually so he has proposed this thing in 1910 and it was approved in the year of 1911. So in 1911, an agreement was arrived at building a smaller reservoir of about 11.3 thousand million cubic feet capacity in the initial phase of the dam. However, what has happened, after some time friction has erupted between Mysore and Madras. Okay, so friction has erupted between Mysore and Madras, and they have agreed that to resolve this particular matter through an arbitrator. And the government of India at that point of time appointed Sir H.D. Griffin, a judge of the High Court, Allahabad, okay, judge of the Allahabad High Court, as arbitrator, who commenced his job in July 1913. Okay, so in this article they have talked about that how this reservoir was built, how, let's say, like, this pact came into being. So this is the thing. So slowly and gradually this reservoir capacity has been increased, and now what has happened, this Kannam Badi arbitrator case. Okay, so Griffin took less than a year to arrive at his award, and this award is known as Kannam Badi arbitration case, and delivered his award on 12th May 1914. Okay, so it's been 110 years right from now. So it is 2024. In 1914, right? So this person, this arbitrator, has come up with a, let's say, like, he has come up with an award. And the takeaway of the award was node of the Upper Riparian Estates plan of constructing KRS with full reservoir level of 124 feet capacity. So Madras, which had about 1.5 million acre of land under cultivation in this territory of the Cauvery Delta, was naturally worried about the possible adverse consequences of this dam. So this thing has happened long back, and even today what has happened, even today this particular issue is lingering. Okay, like in post-independence, like, there had been a state reorganization time and again, right? So after state reorganization, the government of India, set up, let's say, independent tribunals to look into these cases, right? Interstate water dispute resolution related cases. However, the Supreme Court of India has also come into picture, but government of India has declared that the courts will not be having any, let's say in this regard. But the thing is, still this particular thing remains in news, right? Why it remains in news? Because, like, Karnataka government, when we talk about Karnataka government, so Karnataka government says that this particular Karnataka government, it says that it was imposed on Mysore, which was a vassal princely state. So now these states are going back to the history, that how it has originated. Has there been any historical injustice associated with the initial award that was given by the first arbitrator in this particular case? Okay, so finally in this article the author says that the 1924 Cauvery agreement intended to settle disputes between Madras Presidency and Mysore remains contentious. While Tamil Nadu saw it as reservoir, Karnataka deemed it detrimental. Okay, so as of now, between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, this, this particular issue still remains. Now we have another short article. This article talks about Red Sea blues. January's export numbers suggest global shipping woes here to hit home. So basically what is happening, we know that the Red Sea region, right, was in conflict very recently. Why it was in conflict? Because there is a Houthi rebels, right? These Houthi rebels reside in the state or in the country of Yemen, and these Houthi rebels have started attacking on the ships. They started attacking on the ships that were passing through, right? That were passing through the Red Sea. Why they were attacking on the ships? They were attacking on the ships in solidarity with the Palestinian people, on whom aggression is happening by the Israeli defense forces. So, like, after they started attacking on the ships, right, so the United States of America, they have come up with an international agreement that is known as Operation Prosperity Guardian, to protect all those ships, maritime vessels that were passing through the Red Sea. They also invited India to join this pact. However, India has not joined this particular pact. So now what has happened, because the cargo ships are being attacked, cargo ships of all the countries, whichever country, let's say, takes its cargo ship through the Red Sea region, through the, let's say, that particular strait of Bab el Mandeb, I think, right? Whichever country tries to let's say take its ship through it, so it comes under attack. So that's why what has happened, the trade through that ship, through that route, right, has declined. So in this article they have said that January's export numbers suggest global shipping woes. Means like, you know, in January, in the month of January, the global shipping has come to let's say to a very low point. Why? Because less number of ships are being made to pass through the Red Sea region. They are taking, let's say, another route altogether through the Cape of let's say a Cape of Good Hope. I mean, like, they are totally passing through or around African continent. So it is raising the cost of the fuel. Okay, so in this article they have talked about global trade. Okay, this is the thing. So that's all for today's discussion. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.